Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I would appreciate that. Well, long ago I said when I began YouTube that I had made a video and I said I'm probably going to lose a lot of subscribers. I'm probably not going to get a lot more subscribers when I start talking about certain things. And that day may be today. But I need to talk about this, and I need to talk about it, and this is specifically directed towards those who are in the faith of Christianity, those who are in the faith of believing in God, those who are in the faith of Islam, those who are in the faith of Judaism, those who are in the faith of Catholicism, those who are in the faith of Buddhism, those who are in the faith of Wiccan, 5%ers, 2%ers, Hebrew Israelites, etc., etc. I wanted to name drop, but the Spirit is really telling me not to do that right now because that would be a futile effort. It would be making more problems for the hearer, not the speaker. It would be making more problems for you than solutions. And I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to help you clear the clutter of your life by way of narcissist and toxic, extra dead weight people in your life. So let's go. I just recently read, but I will emphasize on one specific person in this video, rightfully so, well deserving. Pastor Brian Trejo. He was married, or he's still married to the lovely Monica Trejo. If you've ever heard them sing independently or together as a couple, it is nothing short of, it's just magnificent, soul stirring. All of those good things as believers we like to see in one another. And when we hear of such a thing such as this with him getting caught in infidelity, it is like a slap in the face. It is like a punch in the gut. Not because he's a perfect man that's deceived us. It's not because he's a man that simply let us down. What really is the kick in the teeth for me is that I too was a fan of Brian Trejo, and I'll tell you how much of a fan. I was a fan of him going way back to 97, I want to think, when I was incarcerated. I listened to him, a lot of other rappers who I believe were ex-gang members who had given their life to Christ. And I would name a few. Maybe in the future I will, but right now, for time constraints, we'll just focus on Brian Trejo and Kingdom music. I listen to everything from these guys, man. This is some real good music, in my opinion. If you like rap music, a little R&B feel with just Christ-centered music, you'd appreciate this stuff, man. But back to what I'm saying is, it's not so much he's a perfect man that disappointed us, deceived us, and whatnot. For me, it's the fact that I have come to a conclusion, and I stand on it, that Brian Trejo is a full-blown narcissist. And I said this when this first came out, so this is no new news, but I want to share this with you guys as an example. As an example of what we hear on these channels are talking about. People are in some of the most influential places as you awakened, as you have this insight and this knowledge of what and who narcissists are and how they work in their behavior. We know that when we know, there is no denying, there is no compromising. So I stand on my decision and my conclusion that he is a full-blown narcissist of the worst kind, if there's a good kind. But I'll say of the worst kind because of the fact how he not so much deceived me, but in how he slithered his way into a mantle representing God. I mean, I guess a narcissist can be a narcissist any facet of life and be a con artist. But to hear and have this presented to me as such in the fold, in the faith, it is no coming back from that. It's not a matter of do I forgive him or not. It's a matter of I'm not buying anything that he's selling from this day forward, because a narcissist will not change. And in many cases, we believe they can't change. And I was reading the article, is why I was compelled to come on and make a video. He, in fact, as always, he has stepped down. He is in counseling to restore his faith with God. There was no public demonstration of an apology because they are cowards. They don't want to apologize because there's nothing to be sorry for. They didn't do anything. He is doing what is expected of him to do by the people who are around him. Repent, we're going to cover you. Believers, you are so hoodwinked into covering people, which is what we should do when and if someone fails. That is the protocol. But protocol, it must not trump intuition and insight in looking and observing behavior and patterns of behavior. This is not just sin. This is a sadistic psychological mindset. There are so many people still trapped in the church believing that these people will change. This person got caught in an offense. Narcissistic personality disorder is hell-bent on deception. The deceiver of man, that's Satan. The father of lies, that's Satan. Now, I had been following Brian Trejo before I awakened. And so now that I'm awakened, I made a video prior, and I think I was talking a little bit on live this morning. And this is going to continue to be my song and dance. As you awakened and you educate yourself and your insight becomes more vivid and your vibration, you are going to see people from the past. Some people who you are in connection with at present, you're going to see them as what they are. The luminol illuminates everything hidden when you're awakened. It may not do it all at once. It may not do it in big spurts. And rightfully so. It'd be too much for the human to bear or the empath to bear. God is giving you bit by bit. He's opening these doors. He's pulling back these curtains of your eyes in order that you can see things for what they are, not for what people want you to see them as, not for what you think they are. Because this is not about a thinking. This is not a thinking thing when it comes to being awakened. It's about a knowing thing. It's about knowing what you know, you know. And in how you know it, nobody can convince you otherwise. And guess what? You're not even hard pressed to convince somebody to believe that you're standing on what you believe. And so if you are a person of the faith, that's even more of a bonus, because I, as a believer, I was firm in certain things, whereas they were biblical, and even more so now because I understand why I stand on those things. More so than I ever did before. Not just because they were biblical principles now. It's because God has given me the eyes to see the things that most people in the world wish they could see. Some of us have the goods, guys. And again, this is not a campaign to pull him down, Brian Trejo. This is to elevate and illuminate this thing called narcissistic personality disorder. Put it up on a high mountain so it can be seen by everybody. This is the light. We're giving you the light about darkness. His wife went on live beginning of the year, I believe it was, crying, holding the baby. I just thought that was a little bit cringing, her holding the baby, but you know, she was going through her grief right there. I understand. She was clutching that child. She has 3 or 4, maybe 5 kids. She was clutching the youngest, the newest born baby, all while she was exposing Brian Trejo as being, and in fact, she uttered it, the word narcissist, but all while she was uttering the word, you could see that she was backpedaling the insight that she had, because this is the trauma bond. She had been informed, or from her reading, she said, I was reading about this stuff, about he's a narcissist, you all. She was going on and going on and going on. And she was studying psychology and behavioral science. And when he was telling her that telling him she was studying it, which oftentimes a narcissist will do, they will try to throw you off of their trail by telling you, what are you into that for? You just need to believe spiritual principles. You need to believe the Bible. That's just philosophy. He was telling her everything but the truth. He was trying to distort and dismiss it and trying to get her to not pursue these things of the mind, because she was getting closer and closer to discovering that he himself, in fact, was a narcissist. The very thing that she was reading about, she was living with that and had bore many children from him. Then she goes on to talk about it was times when she was burnt out from touring and following him and showing up for him as a supportive wife, and where she just, needed to be home with the kids. And he would give her some kind of story. And then at some points he was telling her, trying to discourage her, because people were beginning to like a lot of her music. She was gaining some notoriety, and he became jealous. Although she didn't name it as, well, she did. Now that she knows now, the eyes have been open. She was like, I knew it was something. He never ever wanted to support me. He was just putting it down. Every time I would be getting good reviews, he would put it down. And she said every time he would get on that stage, and knowing what she knew about him, she said he would be on the stage preaching to thousands and thousands of people, and she would be sitting in that audience. He would be praying with people, and she would be disgusted by the fact that he doesn't even pray with me at home. So he was living these two lives, and she was seeing it for what it was. But at this point, she was already recruited and insulated. He had insulated himself with her. So this is why people involved with these kind of people, you're in it, and your shame won't go public, because you have to hide their secret, because it will in turn make you look like you are stupid, you're dumb for being involved with them as long as you are. So this is the tug of war in your mind that keeps you involved with these people. So you keep their secret until they do you a dirty one for the very last time. And then you go public recklessly because your emotions are on high. And that's nothing against her, because she went public the way she did. She had suppressed it long enough. And like I said, I wanted to name drop, but I'm not going to name drop. Brian Trejo, guys, full-blown narcissist. I don't see him being reliable. I don't see myself as listening to anything else from him. And there's so much music that this guy has out. And now the Kingdom Music family, his nephews, had great music out. And this is very disheartening. But it is what it is. I am willing to do whatever I have to do, because to disengage with these entities means that your life is going to be fruitful in the way that God meant it to be. And you're going to in turn elevate and encourage other people to be fruitful in their lives. So even the people that we've liked in times past and we've held in high regard, you must make that committed effort to disengage. That being said, bless.